Happy Independence Day. It's my favorite day of the entire year, my favorite holiday. So it's a pleasure to spend it here with you on the couch and also with you, America.
It's great to be with you, Katie and Charlie. Why is it your favorite?
I think it's just in my blood. I'm a daughter of the American Revolution. I love America. I love seeing everybody in this great country celebrating, and don't mind a hot dog every now and then.
Do you have a favorite memory from 4th of July? Like
easy. Oh, absolutely. Growing up, my grandmother used to make us, we would have a family parade. We live out in the country.
Yeah.
A family parade. We would have a family 4th of July parade.
That's amazing.
And whoever got the beat-up trumpet had the most fun.
Was there a competition for floats and such?
No. It was just marching around the driveway.
I love that.
That's great, Charlie.
Awesome.
What about you?
I was in a parade once for our family business in our hometown, so that was a lot of fun. But my favorite thing is just going to the downtown parade in these small towns across America.
You can get a good parade going in a car wash.
You can get a good parade going. That's true. And the cars are always very clean.
Yeah.
Yes.
The parades are important. In fact, my family's down in Pawleys Island, South Carolina, just south of where we're going to check in with Abby Hornacek. She's in Surfside Beach, South Carolina, and they do a parade on the island today. In years past, my daughter's participated in it. I don't think they're doing it this year, but
love it.
Well, you need
Good
to get
tradition.
down there and, get it going.
Get the parade going, yeah.
Exactly.
By the way, my favorite memory, when I was growing up, we used to go to Oklahoma, and my Uncle Joe Griffin, was a flying tiger. Flew the P-40 airplanes, was a Distinguished Cross guy, and he had a cannon. We gathered at his house around the pool, and every 4th of July, they'd make homemade peach ice cream and fire this cannon.
Well,
Cannon's very Americana. Love that.
You know who else is really celebrating this 4th of July? President Trump. He is celebrated last night in Iowa the successful passage of his big, beautiful bill. Watch this.
There could be no better birthday present for America than the phenomenal victory we achieved just hours ago when Congress passed the one big, beautiful bill to make America great again. Right? Very simply, the one big, beautiful bill will deliver the strongest border on earth, the strongest economy on earth, the strongest military on earth, and ensure the United States of America will remain the strongest country anywhere on this beautiful planet America. 165 days into the Trump administration, America is on a winning streak like, frankly, nobody's ever seen before in the history of the presidency. For the first time in years, this 4th of July, the economy is roaring, incomes are soaring, wages are up, prices are down. Gasoline, you see what's going on with gasoline? It's way down. See what's going on with eggs? Eggs are way down. This incredible national resurgence is happening just in time for one of the biggest events in the history of our country. Exactly 1 year from tomorrow, we will celebrate the 250th anniversary of America's founding with a birthday party, the likes of which you have never seen before. The golden age of America is upon us.
You knew that was coming.
Yeah.
The golden age. And it is exciting that it's a kickoff to the 250th starts today.
Starts today. We got a year to go. It's amazing. The country is turning 250 years old. Still a young country, and the president has a number of things planned for Americans all across the country. He's in Iowa. It was in Iowa yesterday. He's going to be at the White House today. And with the backdrop of the big, beautiful bill getting passed yesterday, lots of things in that package that were big wins for his agenda, including the lowest border crossing since 1960. He touted a number of things happening in the bill yesterday. He has lots of job growth, hiring of Border Patrol agents in that bill, $100 billion for more immigrations and customs enforcement inside of the country. So he has a lot of things to tout today and moving forward after he campaigned on all of this just a couple of months ago.
And it comes after a string of victories across the board that are kind of mind-blowing for any president. We talked earlier this week, Katie, about the University of Pennsylvania, a complete collapse in their insistence that somehow men can play in women's sports. And to cap it off with that victory yesterday in the House of Representatives, there was a lot of opposition. The narrowest majority in history, and they managed to pull it off.
They did, and, as Speaker Johnson said, it's a diverse Republican caucus, but everyone came together. That list, by the way, of accomplishments in the first 6 months, President Trump does get his due in saying that the country's on a winning streak. We just show that one more time, because it's not just the big, beautiful bill. It's also the lowest border crossings. By the way, June 28th, 137 total crossings at a 2,000-mile southern border, the lowest in history, along with the Iran nuclear strike that set back Iran's nuclear program. Gas prices, 4-year lows. Dow closes to record highs. Those gas prices, by the way, when I drove down a week ago tomorrow to South Carolina, take my family to the beach, it was like $3.
Yeah, gas prices, egg prices are down. It's amazing that these things actually have happened just in the last 2 weeks. The president's been back in office for a second term for 6 months, and with the passing of this big, beautiful bill, basically all of his campaign promises, the big ones anyway, were codified yesterday as a result of Republicans sticking together and getting that across the finish line.
Yeah, and but going back to the border, I don't think that there has ever been a bigger, more quickly passed promise of any president. It was the cornerstone of his political campaign in 2016. He did something about it back then. And then in 2024, it was the cornerstone of his campaign again. And as you know better than anybody, Griff, within days, he had accomplished most of it, and then within 6 months, he has completely sealed the border.
It is, and Charlie, it's such a good point, but take us back a year and a half ago. Yep. The Senate was talking about this border bill that was so important. You know what it did? It gave millions upon millions to NGOs to continue. It was not going to shut down the thousands coming across. It didn't stop catch and release. We've had 2 months now back to back with zero releases into the country. We can show you that funding, by the way. And when we talk a little bit later in the show with Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons, he's going to really sound off on why this is so important. You've got $46.5 billion for border wall. That's obviously continuing the promise, Charlie, you were talking about President Trump's first term building that border wall. Then you've got $45 billion for the detention in family centers, $30 billion to hire more ICE officers and set up their transportation to get them better. The Alcatraz is going to be a short-term facility to quickly facilitate people out of the country. And then, of course, $4 billion for more Border Patrol agents. That $100 billion is going to go a long way, and it's a far cry from just a year and a half ago when they were talking about a border bill in the Senate that was supposed to fix things.
What's wild is covering this issue for many, many years and just politically for decades. The fact that this has been a Republican and Democratic problem forever, and it really was all about will. And then you look at how the Biden administration just opened the border completely. Every day, the more and more we see that was a deliberate choice. And now, because so many people have been in the country, ICE is now having to do interior enforcement now that the border is mostly closed and they're keeping people out. So it's interesting to watch how they're operating with that.
Both parties failed again and again and again on this issue and didn't care about this issue because both parties had interests other than the American people and sealing the border.
Well, it was the illegal immigration industrial complex, right? Just like you were saying with the NGOs and all the money that came with it. So we will be watching that moving forward. As we said, Acting ICE Director will be on later in the show. But for now, we are proudly celebrating Independence Day as Americans gear up for fireworks, patriotic events, and the Nathan's hot dog eating competition. And we have live team coverage all morning long.
That's right. Meteorologist Adam Klotz is standing by in Coney Island as competitive eaters like Joey Chestnut prepare to push their appetites to the limit.
But first, let's go to Abby Hornacek live in Surfside, South Carolina. She's having breakfast with friends ahead of a special tribute to our troops. Hey, Abby.
That is right. We're having breakfast with a ton of friends. All these people have been lining up since probably 4 a.m. Brenda over here let me use her golf cart. And like you said, we are pulling up to Neil and Pam's. Good morning, you guys. Let's make sure this thing is in park. All right, we have such a fun morning planned for you guys as we walk up the stairs. All of our men and women in blue as well. Let's see what's going on. Mayor Rob is here. Mayor Rob, how you doing? Happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th of July to you too.
What makes this place the best place to celebrate the 4th?
Well, Surfside Beach is the family beach. We got a wonderful beach and a brand new pier right out there and family-friendly events like this great golf cart parade we're going to have today.
That's right, and that is just a preview of what we're going to see all morning long. You guys, are you excited? I guess you guys are going to have to stick around all morning long because we've got some good energy here. Guys?
Abby, a woman of many skills, parking and driving the golf cart while also having a microphone in your hand and getting out successfully. Great job. She's like, I can't hear you.
Great energy there indeed.
Looks like a lot of fun.
All right, let's check in now with Adam Klotz, who's in Coney Island ahead of the annual Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest. And Adam, you have got the returning king coming back to the contest this year, Joey Chestnut.
I know, can we believe that? Joey Chestnut is back here at Coney Island today. Finally, I know a lot of these folks have been out here talking about it here early this morning. The hot dog contest is coming up at noon, and already, early this morning, people are lining up because they want to be a part of this. I've actually remember some of these folks from last year, but there's a couple of people I want us to talk to really quick. We were talking just a couple of minutes ago. You were the first guy out here, and what you told me was, and I love this, what were you doing last night?
I was at the Def Leppard concert at Mohegan Sun Arena.
Okay, so you went directly from Def Leppard, and you decided there's not enough time to go home.
Yep, I came straight here.
From Def Leppard, and how long was that drive?
About 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours. That is rock and roll. If that's not rock and roll, Def Leppard straight to the hot dog eating contest in Coney Island to see Joey Chestnut. We've got a sign out here. You guys are the second people in line, which is also really impressive. We talked about this earlier. Joey Chestnut is 71.5 hot dogs, right? What do we like? Is he going to do more or less? Over or under?
Over.
The over. We're excited for Joey Chestnut. We're doing the over. Back to you guys.
Only in America, you're going to always go with the over on 71 hot dogs.
Overs
Joey
Club.
Chestnut.
Yep, only in America.
That's very impressive.
Wow.
Thanks, Adam. Okay, and don't miss tonight's big Independence Day special hosted by Griff, Carly, Joey Jones, and Aisha Osni.
It's going to
be big.
fun.
Yeah.
We got
Great.
fireworks, we got music, we got everything coming up.
I'd rather watch that than a hot dog eating contest, I'll be honest.
71's a lot.
Yeah,
a lot.
yeah, it's kind of weird.
But God bless America.
But
It's happening.
you know who hates America?
I think we do know.
The new Democrats' new nominee to be the mayor of New York City, Mr. Mamdani, clearly despises America and everything that we stand for. Full-blown communist, also a racist, by the way. And it turns out that when he applied for Columbia University, he described himself as being black and African American because his parents happened to be in Uganda when he was born.
Okay. So he did an interview on Thursday, and he said he did this with the New York Times. He said he did not consider himself black or African American, but rather an American who was born in Africa. He said his answers on the college application were an attempt to represent his complex background, given the limited choices before him, and not to gain an upper hand in the admissions process. He was not accepted to Columbia, we should also add. So maybe he should call Elizabeth Warren and see how this worked out for her. But she did use it to get ahead. So, maybe there's a difference there.
Well, and Charlie, I heard you talking yesterday a little bit about this. And, the proof of a politician is in the pudding. Listen to what he says, because that's what he's going to do. And here is a flashback shot that you were talking about the other day, Charlie, about what he wants to do about the housing situation. Listen here.
Why do so many people end up homeless? It's not because there aren't enough homes to go around. There are plenty of empty homes. No, it's because housing people is not the primary goal of developers or landlords. Their goal, simply put, is to make a profit. If we want to end the housing crisis, the solution has to be moving toward the full decommodification of housing. In other words, moving away from the status quo, in which most people access housing by purchasing it on the market, and toward a future where we guarantee high-quality housing to all as a human right.
And the best thing about this guy is that he is a complete rejection of Democrat policies in New York City, a complete rejection. Democrats have run the city for decades. Even when you had sort of quasi-Republican mayors dip in and out, Democrat policies have dominated this city. No city in America has more government controls regarding housing than New York City. All of them instituted by Democrats. And this is a complete rejection, a complete confirmation by voters that these policies failed. And this is where they're turning to.
Well, when he says the complete decommoditization of housing, that means he wants the government to run all housing. He wants all private entities to be eliminated, essentially arguing for communes. And as we know, throughout the course of human history, communes lead to more poverty and people starving to death. So New York City wants to go down that route. There's plenty of history to read about how that's a very bad idea.
And you wonder if the Upper East Side elite liberals that plan to vote for him know that he plans to move them out of their homes. Meanwhile, if I were a New York resident voting for mayor, I wouldn't vote for him. I'd vote for Carly Shimkus.
Yeah, she'd be a great mayor. Mayor Shimkus.
Oh, hey, I get used to that idea.
Yeah.
If anybody asked me how I feel about capitalism like they did with him, I wouldn't say I don't like it as my quote.